I grew up in Springfield, South Dakota.
Where's that?
That is about 60 miles west of Vermillion, right off of Highway 50. Home of the Springfield Pointers, at one time University of South Dakota at Springfield.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tell us about your immediate family.
So my husband is a retired environmental engineer.
Okay.
He grew up in a variety of different places in Montana and Wyoming.
Okay.
And his father worked for Bureau of Land Management, so they moved quite a lot. And then, of course, there's Dylan and Wyatt, 16 and 14.
We got a couple teenagers in the house.
Couple teenagers in the house, yes. So a lot more eye rolls and heavy sighs than I'm used to. And they're both pretty active in football and basketball. And
Okay. Where'd you go to college?
I went for my undergrad to the University of Sioux Falls, and my graduate degree, my MBA, I received here at the University of South Dakota.
Perfect. We love a good alumni.
That's right. Go Coyotes.
What'd you study at USF?
Accounting.
Accounting?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you do on campus? Like, what were some of the activities you were involved in undergrad?
I was a member of the women's basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I also spent 1 year in the choir. That didn't quite work out as well. Having both basketball as well as choir was a little bit challenging while trying to go to school full time.
So do you sing?
In my car.
In your car you sing? Loudly?
Yes. As long as no one can see me.
Went to USF for undergrad. You were a student athlete involved in the choir. Did you go straight to get your MBA at USD, or did you go into the workforce for a while?
I went into the workforce for a while.
Okay.
I went straight to peer. I had planned to go into public accountancy with my accounting degree.
Okay.
But ended up in a bit of a fender bender and needed a new car, so I took the first job I was offered.
Interesting. So where along that line did you and Keith meet?
We met in peer, actually.
Okay.
There was a little area connecting our two buildings that had vending machines, and we'd run into each other periodically.
So did he offer to buy you a bag of Cheetos from the vending machine, or
no.
Like, how'd it work out?
No, you have to understand, engineers are cheaper than accountants. No.
So you manage the books.
Yes.
For the family.
Yes.
You went through kind of a few offices in Pierre, decided to go back out to Montana. Who were your mentors throughout this whole time? Do you have any professional mentors that you look up to?
Yeah, a couple I can think of right off the bat. When I was in Pierre, John Jones, he was the individual that had been my boss at the health department and then recruited me back over to human services.
Okay.
He really taught me a lot. One of the things in particular was if I make all of the people happy all of the time, I am definitely not doing my job.
True.
And then Dr. Jane Karras, she was the president at the community college that I worked at.
Okay.
I think she really taught me the importance of being engaged in the community because I saw how engaged she was in that community. And then, of course, former President Abbott.
Of course.
Of course. The last 12 years working for him was just fabulous. He taught me a number of things and certainly demonstrated his love for USD.
Can you give an example of a potential mistake that you had someone help guide you through?
Actually, honestly, yes. It was whether or not to apply for the presidency.
Really?
Yes. I called Jane Karras, Dr. Jane Karras.
Okay.
And I talked to her at great length. And I think if I had not talked to her about the position, I would not have applied for the position, and
Really?
I probably would have regretted that forever.
What did she say to convince you to apply?
She said, "Sheila, you get it. You should absolutely apply. You understand how it all works." And she said, "You'll regret it if you don't try."
So the means relatively new.
Hmm.
How have you seen the community of Vermillion transform since the time that you started at USD?
It's unbelievable. I think when I moved here 12 years ago, we might have had 70% occupancy downtown.
Really?
And now I think it's nearly 100%. It has boomed. It's changed dramatically in 10 years.
What does that mean for like a tight-knit community like Vermillion to have an exciting downtown scene?
You know, I think it starts to attract more individuals to downtown. It starts to build a sense of pride. And frankly, the success of the community helps with the success of the university.
Yeah.
When students come to visit, it's not just campus they visit the community as well. And I think seeing a vibrant downtown is really important to students.
Yeah. So when you were selected as USD's 18th president, you were a community member of Vermillion originally, and now you're at the helm of the university. What's it mean for a community to have one of their own become the USD president?
I hate to speak for the community, but I think it feels sort of very South Dakotan.
Yeah.
It feels like one of our own is going to be running, someone who's been engaged in our community, who understands South Dakota and its work ethic and the importance that the university plays in keeping the state and the community successful.
Yeah. What do you think it means to be a South Dakotan?
I think it means you work hard, of the highest integrity, and I don't think there's ever a feeling of entitlement. I don't even think that word exists in the minds of South Dakotans. Everyone works for what they get.
Yeah. What would you say is the most unique thing about the community of Vermillion?
How unknown it is.
Really?
Yes. I think people don't necessarily understand what kind of hidden jewel the community of Vermillion is. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to go to school. I mean, it's really a safe community. I mean, you think about the number of students and community members that walk to their destinations, and it's never a safety concern. And we have a really active biking club, and I think it's just kind of a hidden jewel, and there's something to do every night.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there is, if you say there's nothing to do in Vermillion, you are not looking.
You are wrong.
You are wrong. There is always multiple things going on in Vermillion.
Okay. So going from the community of Vermillion, more shifting towards USD focused, what's your favorite thing about the University of South Dakota?
The students.
Students?
Absolutely.
What's
Yeah,
unique about our students?
You know, I think they're really engaged. I've seen that even change a little bit over the last few years.
Okay.
There are a lot of students that are very engaged. The number of student organizations is growing, which is fabulous because I think that engagement helps the student kind of develop their skills and being ready for that next level. I think it's the student engagement that I've seen change.
So looking specifically at your presidency, what are your goals for the first year after you're inaugurated? Some short-term kind of objectives that you want to accomplish?
Sure. Short term, hire a law school dean, hire a law school dean, and hire a law school dean.
We need a law school
We need
dean.
a law school dean. Longer term, I really want to keep working on that access and affordability and finding needs-based scholarships and some ways to help students that have a financial need get access to the University of South Dakota. I mean, if you're academically prepared and able to be successful in higher education, finances shall not be the sole barrier.
Do we see a large need for a scholarship like that in South Dakota?
We do. Dakota's Promise, that was the highest priority the Board of Regents put forward.
Yep.
And that program is a state needs-based financial aid package, and that would help 6,000 students a year.
Jeez.
That's a lot of students. And you know, we're seeing it in our enrollment numbers. I mean, fortunately, Scott Polson and his team have done a fabulous job of recruiting, and our incoming class was a record class.
Yeah.
However, when we boil it down and look at the Pell students that received Pell on our campus, in 5 years we've dropped 550 students in that category. So we are definitely seeing a need for a state financial aid package that is need-based.
And what obligation do we have as a university to ensure that students can receive this education?
I think the university, that's part of our mission, right? Having that, we have to provide that workforce for our businesses and the communities. We have to provide those transformational opportunities for those students. If they want to go after a public education, we need to provide them avenues to do that if they've worked hard and are academically prepared.
So, besides affordability and cost, what are some of your other long-term objectives for the university? Where do you want to see us in 10, 15, 20 years?
I know it's a stretch, but I would like our university to be at 15,000 students by the time I retire.
Okay.
Now, that may stretch my retirement date, but that would be, I think, ideal. Between our online presence and the center in Sioux Falls and the other centers we have around the state and the on-campus, I think it's possible. If we can really get some ground, get some headway on that access and affordability, I really think it's possible.
So you've talked about long-term goals with the law school, with enrollment at USD. What are some of the biggest obstacles that you see that we might potentially face getting to those long-term goals?
If we're not able to address the financial aid for those with need, I think that will be a huge obstacle because, the state government isn't seeing significant revenue growth, so they're not going to be able to help with perhaps investing in growth. I think we're going to need to grow to a place where we can make investments ourselves and grow the university and solve some of our challenges ourselves, and that's going to come with enrollment growth. Other challenges is getting past that public perception, perhaps. Sometimes USD gets lumped in with a national perception that perhaps I hear once in a while, higher education is just unaffordable.
Okay.
That's not true. Higher education just spends too much. Well, USD spends the least amount per degree among all of our peers, and that's been consistent for many, many years. So I think USD is unique to that rhetoric. Getting past that public perception is going to be a milestone. I almost feel like universities are going through what healthcare did years ago, right? Where all of a sudden everyone says it's absolutely unaffordable, and every healthcare organization is lumped into some sort of stereotype. Well, I'd like to make sure that people understand USD is not a part of that stereotype.
That if you want to achieve an education, you can.
Yes.
How can students help you? Like, there are a lot of goals and objectives we have that we may not be able to directly influence, but what can we do to make sure that we attract students to the university, that we graduate them on time, that we retain them?
Talk to them. Tell them about your experiences. Everyone I ever talk to says they love the University of South Dakota and all those experiences. There's no better marketing or advertising than word of mouth. So talk to those future students.
Thank you so much for taking the time and sitting down and talking. Congratulations on your inauguration.
Thank you.
One last question. What advice do you have for current and future students?
Get engaged, stay engaged. If you have a question, ask the question. Maybe it's your professor, maybe it's an advisor, maybe it's me. Feel free to reach out. Always an open door policy. You're going to find that pretty much everywhere on the campus. One thing that I've said and will continue to say is that faculty and staff all deeply care about the success of our students. So stay engaged, seek help if you need it. That's it. Go Yotes.
Thank you.